Hey, it's Doug Cofer with Four Columns Marketing. And listen, today I want to really talk to you guys. If you're a business owner or an executive at a mid-sized company, there's some really basic digital marketing things you need to make sure you've got under control, or they can really have a big impact negatively on your company's success. We've found over the years that even really big companies a lot of times can have things fall through the cracks and not really have under control some basic things that can go sideways and cause really big problems for them. So we're going to cover those today. And so let's get started. Okay, so number one, let's talk about domain ownership. You would be surprised how often really big companies and small companies both are not sure if they own their own domain name. They've had somebody register it for them in the past, a long time ago, and they don't really know where the domain is registered or if they have the ownership of it and how to get access to that domain if they need to. It's critically important that you find out where your domain is registered and that you and more than one person at your company has access to that account and that you are managing when that domain expires and that you have the renewal set so that your website doesn't go down due to an expired domain. Because worst case scenario, if someone were to then acquire your domain when it expires, then you've got a really big problem. So get control of your domain, make sure you have access to that account, and make sure that your domain doesn't expire. Number two, let's stay in kind of the website realm here. A lot of times companies and business owners don't really know or have access to their own website. The admin back end of your website is typically being updated by other people, maybe, your employees or an agency or someone who built the website. That's all fine, but you need to make sure that someone at your company, and preferably you if you're a business owner, or multiple people at your company if you're a larger business, have access to that back end. The same thing is true in regards to your hosting. You need to know where your website is hosted, that it's secure, and you need to have the ability to access that hosting if you need to. You don't want to be in a position where only one or two people outside your company have access to your website, and that's it. Because if something happens with your relationship with that company and they go away and you can't get into your own website, that could become a real problem very quickly. Number three, there are platforms that are related to your website that you also need to make sure that you have access to, so that you understand what's happening with your website from a performance perspective. It's Google Analytics, so GA4, Google Search Console, Google Tag Manager. You can also, Google now has Google Business Manager as kind of an umbrella platform over all of these things that you can have set up now. But you need to make sure that you have access to these platforms so that, in terms of an employee leaving or a vendor goes away, you still have access to the performance of your website, so you know what's working and what's not working in your marketing. Okay, now we're moving away, but we are still staying in the Google space here with number four, your Google business profile. Your Google business profile, you've seen it before, I'm sure. But when you go to Google and you type in a company name, and on the right side there's a box that has like a photo and a map to their address, has like their Google reviews and their star rating and a link to their website and so forth. That's your Google business profile. Very often, especially larger companies, will have an agency is generally set that up for them originally. A marketing person or a website manager or something like that may have access to it and have set it up and be managing it potentially or updating it. But you need to make sure that you know how to access your own Google business profile in case an employee, takes another job or an agency goes away for whatever reason. Having access to your Google business profile is very, very important, especially as time goes on, because Google is making that more and more central to your SEO rankings for your website. All right, here we go. Number five, social media. Depending on your industry, maybe you perceive social media as not being as important, but I promise you it is. And what's most important is that you have access to your own social media channels. You would be surprised how many times we've seen really large companies, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue a year, those size companies, where they had just one person as an admin on one of their social channels, and then that person left to go to another company, and they lost access to their LinkedIn or their Facebook or their Instagram or whatever. Um, it's always critically important to make sure that multiple employees at your company have access to all of your social channels to make sure that you can always get access whenever you need to use your social media. All right, guys. So that's our 5 digital marketing must-haves that your business needs to make sure you've got under control. If you're not sure about any of those things and would like some help, check out the link in the description. We've helped tons of companies get these things handled and leverage them to grow their business, and we'd love to help you too.